PPFing your car, is it worth it? Let's find out. Alright guys, so we get asked this a lot. Is PPFing your car actually worth it? Today we're going to be breaking down some of those questions you guys have, and hopefully by the end of it, you'll be able to answer that for yourself. Just to start it off, I know we've mentioned it before, but PPF is a virtually invisible urethane layer that is going to protect your car when it's driving down the road against rock chips and, bugs, anything like that you would experience in the day-to-day life. As far as, bigger things like if you get in an accident or something like that, it's not necessarily going to be that beneficial. Whenever it comes to more minor things like chips and scratches, it is a definite go-to. So the reason you would go for PPF instead of something else, like different coatings and things like that, paint protection film is actually going to be taking the blow from these scratches and chips and things like that. If you have a coating, things can potentially be protected a little bit, it's filling in those pores whenever it's coated, so it's slicker, things won't stick as far as like bug guts are easier to clean off and things like that. The coatings aren't really going to be protecting against chips and more abrasive things like that when you're driving down the road. So that's why people would be opting for paint protection film versus those other options. So when it comes to installing PPF on your vehicle, we use XPEL products exclusively here because we just love the quality and the performance of everything that they produce. So when it comes to deciding whether or not your car is the right fit for paint protection film, one thing that might sway you one way or the other is if you have significant paint issues like clear coat coming up or the paint's really rough already, then you could potentially still put paint protection film on very chipped paint. It may be better to put it on there, after you get the paint fixed or, before all that stuff may have occurred. Because if you have things like clear coat failing, then whenever you go to apply the film, it could potentially be lifting up more paint and cause more issues. So it would be best to get those issues fixed prior to installing the paint protection film. One cool feature about paint protection film is it is virtually invisible. So what I mean by that is if it's installed correctly, there's no contamination and all the edges are sealed properly, then it's actually really hard to tell if it's on there. You actually have to know what to look for and find the corners and everything. But just from like a couple feet away, you can't even tell what's on there, and it's doing all the protection that it needs to be doing. Whenever it comes to the film being invisible or not, XPEL does have an option called XPEL Stealth, which not only does it protect your paint, but it gives it a matte kind of satin finish. So it's like the best of both worlds. You get to change the look of your vehicle and also protect your vehicle in the same film. A big factor in maintaining your PPF is very similar to just maintaining your vehicle in general as far as washing it goes. You just don't want to let it get all caked up. You want to make sure that you're periodically washing it. When you do wash it, you want to stay away from automatic car washes and things like car washes with brushes. It's just abrasive to the film. It will scratch it up. It's self-healing, but you want to just make sure that it's going to last. You don't want to do anything that's going to be scratching it up like that and potentially fraying up edges. And so what we always recommend here is just Johnson & Johnson's baby shampoo. It's nice and delicate. It doesn't put any waxiness or any sort of bad things onto the film. And so it's just nice in general, and it keeps it lasting longer. So now I'm going to list a few do's and don'ts as far as PPF aftercare goes, just so that you get the most out of your PPF and it's lasting as long as it possibly can. First don't I will say is if you get your vehicle completed and you see any air bubbles or anything like that, don't take it upon yourself and push them out or do anything. You could potentially crease the film or cause a worse issue than it already was. The best thing to do is just bring it to us and we'll get it fixed up. More than likely, it's just a simple fix and it'll be good as new in no time. Number 2 on the list of don'ts is never pick at the film. If you see a lifting edge or an edge with contamination, don't mess with it, because just like the air bubbles that I mentioned before, it's very similar. You could potentially make it worse. Just bring it to us, tell us what the issue is, we'll get it fixed and you'll be back on the road. All right, number 3 on the list of don'ts is do not go extended periods of time without washing your car. I kind of brought this up before, but I want to bring it up again because I really want to stress this. If you have bug guts or tree sap or anything on there, it's you know, protecting your paint, but it's still going to be eating away at the PPF. And the best thing to do is to maintain it just like you would your paint. Wash that stuff off so it'll last as long as possible. All right, and the last thing, it seems kind of obvious, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Don't use a pressure washer on the edges of the panels. You're gonna cause some lifting and it could escalate really quick, and just don't do it. All right guys, now I'm gonna list off a few things that you definitely should do whenever it comes to taking care of your PPF vehicle. So the first thing, it's kind of not an option for some people, but if it is, definitely garage your vehicle. If you can keep it out of the elements and out of the sun, then it's just gonna last a little longer and you wanna get the most life out of it. And one of the ways you're gonna do that is if you're not just letting it bake and, you know, sit there and get caked up and everything. And then that kind of leads into not having to wash it as much, so it's kind of a 2-for-1. All right, number 2 on the list of things you should do is you definitely should bring your car in for the PPF checkup that we offer here at White Glove. So what the PPF checkup is after you get the PPF installed, you wait like a week or 2 and you bring it back, and we check over every single panel, every single edge, and make sure that everything is sitting exactly how it should and nothing is failing, there's no contamination, and if there is, we fix it up because that's just part of what we do here. So definitely bring it in. Another cool feature of the XPEL PPF that we use is it is actually warranted for 10 years. So that means that any cracking or any blistering or any staining or delaminating or whatever weird things may happen to the film, you are warranted from factory defects for 10 years. All right guys, so I threw a lot of information at you in a short period of time, so let's see if we can answer this question. Is PPF actually worth it? If you have a winter beater, you know, 2,500 bucks just getting you from point A to point B, probably not worth it. You're probably better off just doing your thing and just driving the car, because that's all you're really getting out of it. However, if you have a brand new car, the paint's perfect, and you want to keep it looking perfect for a long time, then it is absolutely worth it to protect your investment. Definitely, if you're interested in protecting your investment, you should bring your car in here. Call us today for a free quote. We'll definitely get you hooked up and get you protected down the road. So until next time, we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys.